Uh, yeah, I'm having some technical difficulties, brother. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. The Fat Cats are back. I'm your co-host Ward Sewell, joined by the big dog, the man, the myth, the legend, Cam Taylor, and we're back. Episode 32. We got a full slate. We got UFC, we got football, we got more football. Cam, what's going on with you, brother?
Yeah, man, living the life. Get to talk ball with my buddy Wade here this evening. If Ford didn't say I wasn't paying attention, November 14th, 2023.
Mhm.
So Thanksgiving's right around the corner. Yeah, man, having a good week so
Yeah, I
far.
am so excited for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna put on a few pounds, a few unneeded pounds.
We're gonna need to do a special segment for Thanksgiving next week for
For
sure.
sure, for sure. But yeah, man, good week so far. Staying busy at work. Ward, I know you had a pretty eventful weekend, so I want you to get into that.
Yeah, man. So it has been a very eventful week at work. So, as anybody knows, Cam, did y'all get Friday off for Veterans Day?
No, we did not.
Did you? Well, your company does not care about the veterans. That's messed up, man.
Crazy.
Cam, I'm not going to say the company you work for, but anybody that knows Cam, his company, y'all need to send the CEO a note and tell them they need some more PTO on holidays. Well, anyway, we had Friday off, so been playing a lot of catch up this week work wise. But yeah, man. So my weekend, I know we talked about it briefly last week on the podcast, but I went to Myrtle Beach. I played in a 4-day golf tournament. Played a lot of golf. If you've ever played 4 days of golf in a row, it will get to you. And I will say everything happened. Good shots, bad shots, okay shots, kind of okay shots. You name it, it happened. But Cam,
Tequila shots.
tequila shots, those happened. Lots of tequila shots. Fireball, Jaeger, you name it, Cam. But anyway, it was you really get to know your golf game when you're playing with guys that are really good and you think you're playing okay. Like when you play golf 4 days in a row, there's gonna be bad days in there. But I will say I had a heck of a time, and I was already thinking Myrtle Beach does great golf packages, and this golf package, Cam, our breakfast was included, lunch was included, 2 beers a day were included, your hotel was included, and then 4 days of golf were included. And it really was not that expensive. You look at it, you're getting pretty much 60% off of everything because you bundle it all together. And that's something I like to do with all of our friends. So, Cam, I know you'd be down. If anybody's interested in planning a golf trip, let me know, and I will be the one that plans it for all of us. But it was fun, Cam. Myrtle Beach was different in November, but it was a good time.
Yeah, man, that's dangerous for me. 4 days of golf straight for me would be.
Yeah.
I'd get out of Myrtle Beach if I was
And it's
not
not
about to.
like and it's not like you choose your tee time. No, every morning you tee off. It's a shotgun start. Everybody plays at the same time, and you start at 8:30. Your tee time is at 8:30 somewhere on a course, and you play 4 different courses too. So
Wow.
it was
Yeah,
fun, man. I didn't see any alligators, so I'm kind of disappointed in that. I did plan on trying to hit a few stingers and probably nail an alligator in the head, but didn't get the opportunity.
that's funny. That's funny, man. Well, I'm glad you had a good time. Yeah, we definitely need to get one of those
Yeah.
going. But yeah, man, as we get into the podcast here, let's start it off with the first favorite forgotten here for episode 32. I'll go ahead and start it off. So for me, this was probably an easy one for everybody. My first was definitely Franco Harris, Steelers legend, the fullback. Our buddy James Fry probably doesn't like Franco Harris. We weren't alive for it, but the immaculate reception against his Raiders, one of the most historic moments in NFL history. So, yeah, Franco Harris is definitely going to be my first here for 32.
Cam, before I get into my first favorite forgot, what was the highlight of your weekend? What'd you do? Anything exciting?
Dude, we watched ball all weekend.
Nothing wrong with that.
Big Wheezy came down and we watched the UFC fights, though, on Saturday. So, shout out Big Wheeze. Hell of a card. We'll get into it. We missed the preview once again for a UFC card, which seems to be.
We'll go over the recap here, but
Yeah.
yeah, shout out Wheezy. Appreciate you hanging out with my boy Cam. My first this week, Cam. My first is going to be Mr. Drake Thomas, 32 for NC State, Rallywood legend, playing for the Seattle Seahawks now on that 53-man roster. So Drake, keep doing big things, brother.
Yep, shout out Drake, man, friend of the program. My favorite here is going to be Shaq, man. I grew up. Shaq was my favorite basketball player. Had a pair of his shoes. Didn't know that, the end ones were at Walmart, and I thought I was the coolest kid in the world wearing Shaq. So, yeah, Shaq's going to be my favorite here.
I was just watching videos earlier of Shaq and it was Shaq and Ernie Johnson. And Shaq gave Ernie Johnson a hug or something. I don't know. Anyway, so glad you bring that up, Cam. Great choice there, by the way. I did not think of Shaq. Great choice. I'm going with a different basketball player, number 32, Lakers legend, probably the best point guard ever play in the NBA, Mr. What's Magic Johnson's Ernest Johnson?
Irvin.
Irvin, okay. Irvin Magic Johnson. He is a minority stakeholder for the Washington Commanders ownership group. So this guy has a lot of ties into a team that I believe a lot in. So shout out to Magic Johnson for being my favorite 32.
Love it. Love it. I love Magic Johnson as well. I know Weezy is a big Magic Johnson fan. I'm pretty sure Magic Johnson's the reason that Weezy is a Lakers fan. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the reason.
Nice.
I've got two here for forgotten. My first forgotten is Maurice Jones-Drew. I continue to come with the 2000s, 2010s running backs because there are so many of them, but Maurice Jones-Drew in Jacksonville was incredible. And then Jimmer Fredette wore 32 for everybody except
Jimmer
for
Range.
Yeah, Jimmer Fredette, 32. I think he wore it for BYU as well.
Yeah.
So, Jimmer Fredette's going to be my second forgotten here.
Love it, dude. Was that a thing in Charlotte growing up? People would say Jimmer Range and pull up 10 feet behind
everywhere. West Virginia, Louisville, Charlotte.
Hey, that's right. Not Charlotte, West Virginia. That's right.
Yeah. So Jimmer was that guy,
forget
man.
how old we are, man. Damn, Jimmer, you really feel old because you played when we were in middle school. Holy crap.
He comes around like once a year. He'll drop like 70 points in China or somewhere outside of the U.S. and people are like,
he's
how did this guy
playing for the Shanghai Sharks now? That's hilarious, dude. My forgotten this week, and this guy's not really forgotten, Cam. It's Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger. He's not really forgotten, but ever since he left Kansas City, nobody really hears about him anymore. You know, when's the last time you've heard about Tyrann Mathieu?
Dude, I haven't heard any. I'll watch Saints games every once in a while, and you don't even really hear his name on the broadcast.
He's kind of like there, you know. He's like, another one's Buda Baker. Buda Baker he still makes plays. I don't know which one. I'd say he's better than Tyrann Mathieu right now. But anyway, yeah, Tyrann Mathieu's going to be my forgotten. Cam, we got some game balls, dude. I just want to start out by saying hell of a slate of not NFL, but college football as well. Hell of a slate of football this weekend. Georgia stays on top. Georgia proves why they are number one. Michigan comes in with a fake interim head coach, beats the hell out of Penn State. I mean, Cam, you couldn't ask for better football. Outside of Kentucky, you couldn't really ask for a better weekend of football.
When you're blackout drunk, sometimes you got to puke and rally. I kind of did that with the Kentucky Wildcats. I'll just kind of erase that game from my memory. And
you played Alabama.
And my mom was like, are you upset? After the game on Saturday, and I was like, I am, but I only get so many weeks of football. I'm not going to let this ruin my week of football. So, great slate, man. But I'm going to let you take the first game ball here.
Yeah, man. So my first game ball is actually, I know I just mentioned it, but it's University of Georgia. Everybody continues to bet against these guys, and what do? They just continue to beat the hell out of people. Georgia has beat everybody. Georgia plays to the level of their competition. They prove the reason they have won the last two national championships, and there's a really high betting possibility that they're probably going to win a third. So they've come in, they've beat all of their talent, and they haven't just beat their talent, they've beat the hell out of their talent. So you can't bet against Georgia. They've given you no reason to bet against them. So good for Kirby Smart and University of UGA.
Yep, and I'll keep the UGA train rolling here. My first game ball is going to Broderick Jones and the Steelers run game. Broderick, if you don't know, he's our first-round pick. We traded up over the Jets to get him with the Patriots. He's been in the starting lineup at right tackle for the Steelers the past 2 weeks. Last week, they ran for 186 yards. This week, 205 yards as a team. They hadn't run over for 100 yards since that point. So, Broderick Jones making a huge impact as a rookie on that Steelers offensive line. And Jaylen Warren getting his first 100-yard game in the NFL. So, shout out to those two guys.
I like it, Cam. I like it, brother. And so my next game ball this week, I do have a couple of game balls. My next game ball is actually going to be, I think everybody's giving this guy a game ball, so I'm kind of copying a lot of people. But Josh Dobbs, man. Josh Dobbs comes in. He's 2-0 as a Viking starter now. He's saved this team's season. I mean, Kirk gets hurt, your franchise quarterback gets hurt. What do? You bring in a guy that's been passed around. He's been on 3 different teams in the past 6 months. And he comes in and he balls out against the Saints and gets a big win on the road. So my next game ball is going to Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, former Steeler, former Tennessee Volunteer,
former Brown, former
Tennessee Titan.
He's been everywhere.
Yeah,
he's been passed around like Shaq, man.
We love Josh Dobbs on this podcast, though. My last game ball is going to go to Jalen Milroe once again. I think he got one last week, but he continues to make plays, man. He's the first Alabama player ever to throw for 3 touchdowns and rush for 3 touchdowns in the same game. 6 total touchdowns, 270 all-purpose yards against my Kentucky Wildcats. I got to see it firsthand. Jalen Milroe is that guy, dog.
He is that guy. I love it, brother. So my next 2, I'm only going to get into one, not going to get into the other one. My next 2, I got 4 game balls this week. Brennan Armstrong, all the shit I've talked about you, Brennan. You came out and balled out on the road against Wake Forest. Got your first road win in the ACC. Congrats to you. Big 2 games coming ahead. So, Brennan, that's one. My next game ball is going to be to Alex Pereira. Obviously, you won the 205 championship. We'll get into details of that in a little bit, but those are my 4 game balls. Cam, I have an idea. I had an idea of something I wanted to run by you. So, as you know, you guys know I just went to Myrtle Beach and played a lot of golf. And anyway, Cam likes to play golf. I like to play golf. And I just wanted to switch it up a little bit. You know, I feel like we've been getting a little too consistent with our podcast. I wanted to
getting a little stale.
Yeah, we had to throw some popcorn at you, ladies and gentlemen. So me and Cam are going to do a debate, okay? And we're just going to name our top. We're not going to do this too official. We're just going to name our top worst things that can happen in golf. And not just worst things that can happen to you in golf. So example, miss a long putt, leave a long putt short, shank a drive, top a drive. See what I'm saying? You get the memo here. So, Cam, I'm going to give you the honors. I want you. Let's do three picks, okay? No written down, nothing off the top of your head. 3 worst things that can happen in golf. Cam, number 1, go.
Well, this is pretty easy for me. It happens almost every round. You walk up to the first tee box, you pull the big dog out, you pull the driver out, and you hit it out of bounds on the first tee box. Whole clubhouse is watching, your whole group's watching, everybody that's waiting to tee off's watching, and you've got to take the walk of shame to either take your drop or whatever. It sets a bad tone for the rest of your golf round.
I will say, Cam, great one. Okay, that's a great one. I have one very similar. My number 1 this week for the worst things that happen in golf. Not going to tell you how many times I did this in golf. But, Cam, there's no worse feeling. You're on a 340-yard par 4. You come down and completely just shoot a missile of a drive right down the middle of the fairway. But you have about a 280, 290 drive, 50 yards to the pin. You're feeling good. You're like, all right, let's come up here. Let's get a chance to get birdie. Let's stick a good chip. You get on the fairway. You hit your 56 or you hit your pitching wedge, and you hit it fat. And then the ball just rolls 5 feet. So then, all right, now you're already at your birdie shot, and you're still 40 yards away. So I think right there, if you screw up on a chip shot and you just hit it fat or you hit behind the ball and it goes 5 feet, I think right there that's one of the most embarrassing, worst skill things you can do in golf. So that is going to be my number 1 worst feeling right there, Cam.
Yeah, that one's bad. I've got one similar. I'll save it in case I need one. But my second one here, and it doesn't happen to me as much as it happens to our good friend James Fry. Forgetting a club at a prior hole. You know, there's no worse.
Did that this weekend too.
There's no worse feeling than having to backtrack and slow other groups down to find a club.
Oh yeah.
James Fry is the king of this, and
have you ever done this?
No, I've not done it yet, but he does it. It feels like once around, and we almost always share a cart. So we've always got to go back.
Who drives, you or him?
Depends. Usually it's him, but sometimes it's me, and you got to explain to the club or the group behind you, like, hey guys, we forgot a club. Did you see this club by chance? So yeah, that's one of the worst feelings in golf for sure.
My next one, Cam, is going to be. Sorry, I had to talk to a work colleague real quick, but my next one is one. I did leave a club this weekend. Had to backtrack and get it. Felt bad. But my next one, and I think this is going to be one of the worst embarrassing things you can do in golf, and not outside of bull BSing a chip, is topping a drive. You only get to pull out your disco stick and hit a 300-yarder a couple times around. Cam, I mean, I don't think there's any. I mean, this may even be number one. When you go up, you hit a drive, especially when people are watching, and you top it. You top the drive, and it goes maybe 25 feet. It just shows that you are incapable of playing golf, and you're an embarrassment to the game, and it's just an embarrassing thing to do. And you should just go back to putting. So, Cam, that's gonna be my number two, is topping a drive.
Yeah, man, that one's up there for sure.
We've all done it multiple times.
I'll say equally as embarrassing as teeing your drive up too high and hitting it like
hitting it straight up in the air,
and then it falls right in front of you.
Yeah.
This one's not embarrassing as much as it's just like, kind of a tough feeling. When a golf course doesn't have cart girls, man, like you got to make it 9 holes before you can, like, you better stock up for that 9 holes. Having a cart girl is it makes life a lot easier.
That is great. That's a really good. We were blessed to have cart girls this weekend, but Cam, this is the only course that I've ever played with cart girls. We never actually had cart girls, cart guys, nothing, And I did buy a couple Miller Lights off the cart girls. Felt like Luke Combs there. But my third one, Cam, is going to be weaving a putt short. And when I say weaving a putt short, not hitting a putt correctly. So say you have a 25-foot putt, okay, and you're like, all right, I'm going to 2-putt this. I know I'm not going to make it. I'm going to get it somewhere around the hole. You hit it, and you make it halfway there. And you're like, okay, I just screwed myself. That's another one where it's like, all right, clutch up. What are you doing? Grow some nuts. But that's going to be my third. Cam, I think this was a pretty cool debate.
That was awesome. I like this. Yeah. We need to do more stuff like this. I do have one more kind of close to what you had. This is when you're on the fringe of the green and you get that 60-degree out. Like, it's too far to putt it. Like, you can't do the Texas wedge. So you got to get a chip out there onto the green. But you're right on the green. You're on the fringe. And you hit behind it. You hit it like 2 inches. Still on the fringe.
Yeah.
And then next stroke, you just skull it over the green.
Yeah. They've done that multiple times.
That's like I do that at least twice around.
Right. At least. Hey, before we get into the rest of the podcast, I'm going to give you 3 scenarios, okay? And I want you to tell me what you think is the worst one. Number 1, missing a 2-foot putt. That's number 1. Number 2, doing a bump and run. You're right beside the green. You're going to do a bump and run, try to get as close as you can. You don't hit under the ball at all. You hit right through it, and it gets flying over the green. That's number 2. Number 3, par 5, 450 yards. You top your drive, it goes 10 feet.
That's tough, man. I feel like the last 2 happen to everybody. But like, if it's a high pressure situation and you miss a 2-footer,
yeah,
that you're setting yourself up for jokes for the rest of your life. So I'm gonna say the 2-footer. I've done all of those more times than I'd like to say. And I'll say to anybody who's listening to this, if that happens to you, own it. Make it a joke. Like, don't get defensive. Like, we're playing golf. I promise you, nobody you're playing golf with is good at the game of golf. They just might be better than you that day. So like, have fun with it. Don't get all pissed off because you hit a bad shot.
That's hilarious, dude. That's hilarious. I would say out of mine, missing a putt's bad. I missed multiple putts to very close putts that I should have hit to win holes this weekend. But because we were playing best ball, it wasn't just me, it was my partner too. But I would say then it depends who's watching. If it's to win a hole, it's a putt, obviously. But if you have 20 people watching and you top a drive, it don't get much worse than that, Cam.
Yeah, but it's all situational for sure. Yeah.
But no, man, I thought that was a good little segment. Switch it up a little bit. Let's get into it, man. Let's talk some college football playoff, Cam.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of moving parts this year. I would say in the hunt right now, like, you've got Florida State, who's undefeated. You've got Washington, who's undefeated. You've got Texas with that win against Alabama if they win the Big 12. You've got the Big 10 champion, whether that be Ohio State, Michigan. You've got the SEC champion, whether that be Georgia or Alabama. And then Oregon, if they're able to beat Washington in the Pac-12, they're right in there as well. So you've got a bunch of teams fighting for 4 spots. As of today, I'd like to hear what 4 teams you think get in.
Dude, it's impossible. Because it's impossible to do right now because there's so many teams that with no losses that still have such a big schedule coming up. There's so many teams with 1 loss that are this close to getting in with one more win. Like a perfect example, I think Alabama wins out, beats Georgia. I say a one-loss Alabama team is going to get in over a one-loss Ohio State team, or undefeated. I'm sorry, I messed this up. I think a one-loss Ohio State team, if they beat Georgia, gets in over a one-loss Michigan team, one-loss Ohio State team, and then obviously a one-loss Oregon or one-loss Washington team. Do you disagree with me, or do you think Big Ten? It's going to be one or the other. Does Big Ten put 2 in the playoff, or does SEC put 2 in the playoff?
Yeah, I think
I
Big
have
Ten.
No idea, dude.
I don't think the Big Ten will put it 2 in just because the winner of Ohio State Michigan will play in the Big Ten championship and the other one won't.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if 2 SEC teams get in because, like, if Alabama.
There's a lot of really good football teams this year, man.
Well, I mean, you think if Alabama beats Georgia in the SEC championship, they both have 1 loss. Say Ohio State or Michigan wins out, they're undefeated. Mm-hmm. FSU wins out, they're undefeated. And Washington wins out, they're undefeated. How are you going to put a 1-loss Georgia?
That's true.
I mean, there's really too much to, like, for us to have like a set list or talk about, but you'll have a lot of fun and you'll probably drive yourself crazy thinking of all the crazy possibilities.
There's so many possibilities, man. But let's go ahead. I do want to give our 4. Cam, I'll say my 1 and 4, and then you can say your 1 and 4. Then you want to do 2 and 3s? You want to do it like that?
I just go ahead and name your 4. And I'll name
my 4, no particular order. Okay. This is no particular order for anybody listening. Timestamp guy. Today is 11:14 on Tuesday afternoon, and people can lose before Saturday. So right now, I think it is Georgia, Florida State. Winner of Michigan, Ohio State is in. I'm going to say based off right now, I'm going with Michigan. Michigan at 3, and you're going to have to throw Washington at 4, I think, right now. Yeah. I mean, am I missing anybody?
No, I mean, that's kind of the order. I'm projecting. So to me, a Big Ten champ's going to get in, SEC champ's going to get in, Pac-12 champ's going to get in, and Florida State's going to get in if they win out. So I'm going to say Florida State gets in. I'm going to say Oregon beats Washington in the Pac-12 championship.
Do you think Oregon gets in or not?
I think if they beat Washington, they're in. I think Bama is going to beat Georgia in the SEC championship. So I got Bama getting a spot. And then I'm going to go Michigan. Michigan's got a lot going against them right now. They're going to rally together. I think Michigan wins out. I think they win the Big Ten.
I like all of that. I actually no. I mean, because if Washington wins, then that puts one of those one-loss teams out. If Washington wins, then who wouldn't get in if Washington won? Actually, dude, it's so confusing. I don't know. I really like that list, Cam. I think Oregon-Washington is going to be an absolute banger.
Yeah, I think the best way to think about it is if everybody takes care of business.
What big regular season games are left? Has Washington, Oregon played yet? That's right. Washington beat Oregon at the very end.
We'll get into it later. Washington's going to Oregon State this weekend, and they're a dog. They're 2.5-point dog.
No, they are not.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the best way to think about it.
Does Georgia play anybody else or not?
They've got Tennessee. They've got Tennessee this weekend.
Tennessee sucks.
Agreed. But
Tennessee sucks.
Yeah, I think the best way to think about it, Big Ten champ gets in, SEC champ gets in, Pac-12 champ gets in, and if Florida State wins out, they get it.
I don't think Florida State, they've already played everybody. They don't play Notre Dame. I don't know who Florida State would have to – who else they're going to have to play. They're going to play somebody in the ACC championship.
I mean, it looks like projection-wise, they're probably going to get Louisville in the –
Louisville is not good, by the way.
If Jake Plummer beats Florida State, they don't have any business being in that game.
Louisville is winning football games. Don't get me wrong. They are not good enough to win the ACC championship, and that's a joke on the ACC as a whole.
They legit have the easiest schedule in Power 5.
Yeah,
like, that's not a joke.
They beat an NC State team starting Brennan Armstrong. But don't get me wrong, it was our defense. They beat us 13-10.
Dude, they went to the wire with Virginia on Friday night.
Well, Virginia's going to the wire with everybody, bro. Virginia's winning football games right now. They just beat Carolina. I mean,
yeah.
And Carolina Duke, how about their 3 overtime performance? I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah,
Carolina ended up winning, against a third-string quarterback, too.
Yeah, third-stringer for Duke. Dude, this Carolina team, I've had to talk some Carolina fans off the ledge.
Freaking frauds. told you this. Excuse my language, but frauds.
Our boy El Spring, man, me and him had a pretty heated conversation. He wants Mac Brown gone. He wants him fired.
Oh.
I don't know who you're going to get that's better than Mac Brown at that job, but yeah, man,
We're
place to be.
Unpopular opinion: Drake May is not a top 5 quarterback right now in college football.
I think you're crazy.
The way he's playing this year, he's not a top 5 quarterback in college football.
I don't agree with that.
He's not playing. I mean, look at quarterbacks that he's not even playing better than Bo Nix right now.
Statistically, Bo Nix is second in the Heisman race, Ward.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying he's not playing better than Jordan Travis. He's not playing better than Bo Nix. He's not playing better than who else? There was another big one that I was missing. Michael Penix. I don't know. I mean, I don't know where you're going to put the guy from USC, Caleb Williams. And, I mean, obviously, Caleb Williams is Caleb Williams. But, I mean, right there, that's 4 guys.
Yeah, man.
Is he playing better than LSU's quarterback?
I think it depends. I think that there's like 6 quarterbacks that you could have in any order.
There is. I mean, outside of who's number 1 in the Heisman right now?
Penix is
Bo Nix is at 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a 2-horse race, by the way. I don't think anybody else is getting that Heisman conversation unless 18 in Columbus, Ohio starts going crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. But, there's Marvin Harrison at 3, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, that's our quarterback talk. Let's talk this Jim Harbaugh suspension real quick. I do want to say,
is it a slap on the wrist or not?
Yeah, for sure. But it was handled the wrong way. They told him on the tarmac when he landed that he was suspended in Pennsylvania, like at Penn State. They told him like, hey, you're not allowed to coach. So it is funny though too. He's going to miss half the season for 2 different 3-game suspensions. But yeah, this Michigan team, they had a lot to prove against Penn State. We'll get into it later, but they came out and they smacked him in the mouth. They took care of business. But yeah, this Jim Harbaugh stuff is crazy. I agree with the suspension. He should be suspended. It happened under his program, whether he knew about it or not. Doesn't matter. It happened in his program, and he has to face the consequences.
Very true. Very true. I agree. I do think if this is all he gets for this, it will be a slap on the wrist, and it's going to be an embarrassment to college football. But, I mean, at the end of the day, college football is better when Jim Harbaugh's coaching. So
For sure.
Really, I'm really curious to see how much this is going to impact the Ohio State game.
Yeah.
Because it's win and get in at the end of the day. Whichever one of these teams wins, even if they lose the SEC or even if they lose the Big Ten championship, they're in. I think.
If either one of these teams goes and loses to Iowa, dog, I don't know.
That's true. That's true.
I don't know about that one.
That's true, but they won't score points on them. I can tell you that.
Let's keep talking about
the under
coaches. Let's talk about Jimbo getting fired at A&M, man.
Jimbo
After they hang 51 on Mississippi State, both coaches from that game got fired. Jimbo gets fired. Zach Arnett gets fired. We'll talk Jimbo first. $76.8 million buyout to get out of town. But I'll say, Ward, being a P5 coach and getting fired might be the dream job, dude.
Yeah, no shit. If you're getting paid like that, somebody's paying. One of those, I don't know, Jimbo must have slept with one of the boosters' wives because one of the boosters are not happy with him, boy, because, they're the ones that pay that money.
Yeah.
It's not the school, it's boosters that throw the money to get him fired. But, yeah, Cam. So this leads to the question. Jimbo's gone. I know Jimbo's had a bad couple of years. Jimbo Fisher's going to get another Power 5 somewhere else. Who does Texas A&M hire?
They're going to give as much money as he wants to Dan Lanning up in Oregon.
You think?
They're going to get.
They're going to do that. They reached out to him and he told him to kick rocks publicly. I don't know what he said privately. But see, the thing is that Texas A&M has that other people don't, is they are right. College Station is right in the oil capital of Texas, USA. Oil money is a different kind of money, Cam. And the thing is that they're going to be able to pay somebody whatever they want. And at the end of the day, money speaks volumes. There's a lot of talk going on. Stephen A. Smith had a long segment this morning about is Coach Prime, is Deion Sanders going to get that big SEC job that he craves? I personally do not think so. Because you look at the people that he's already brought to Colorado with him that have already transferred, Travis Hunter, both of his kids, or his son and his nephew or whatever. You can't transfer twice within Power 5. We just saw it happen with that kid at North Carolina. That transfer, I think it was from or Kent
Toledo.
State or something like that, or Toledo. Anyway, they're going to have to sit a year. And I don't think those kids it's worth for them to sit a year of college football. So I think that scratches that off. Dave Dorn is another one. Dave Dorn's apparently is a big target as well. NC State just paid Dave Dorn so much money. I don't think he's going anywhere. Who else? I saw one more name.
I think the two that they want bad is Lanning in Oregon and Elko at Duke.
Elko, really?
Yeah, former DC at A&M. I mean, he's turned Duke into a respectable.
He has, but I have not heard that name.
Yeah.
I have not heard that. Interesting.
He's a hot commodity, man. If Duke wants to keep him, they're going to have to open up the checkbook because he's going to get about whatever job he wants.
Yeah.
I would love to see Prime in College Station though. I think that'd be fun.
I think he'll be able to get recruits there. I can tell you that.
I do want to say though, like A&M is kind of a nightmare of a job because you got to think like you're competing with all the Texas schools for recruits.
Yeah,
you're competing with every SEC team for recruits, and you've got championship aspirations and expectations without the pedigree.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's almost an impossible job, and good on Jimbo to get a $75 million.
Good for Jimbo, man. He might want to sit back and go to Cancun for a couple.
I'll tell you what, man. Those people up in Morgantown, West Virginia, are basically already hiring him.
No way. He goes to West Virginia.
They think that he's coming home, man.
Yeah, I'll believe that when I see it, Cam. That would be interesting to me. Yeah, I have no idea. I know we're short on time, but I don't know where the hell Jimbo's going to go. We could stretch this out into 30 minutes itself.
Yeah.
But
real quick, let's talk Zach Arnett because I do want to say something.
Yeah.
Mississippi State fired Zach Arnett yesterday. I think it's BS that they fired him.
I think it's a little early.
He took over halfway through the season last year after Mike Leach passed away, God rest his soul. And then they give him a half a season to turn that program around. I think that Mississippi State did an absolute disservice to Zach Arnett. With that being said, the best defensive mind in college football is on the market. Somebody go hire that guy as their DC.
Yeah. I wonder who curious where he goes. I'm sure he's gonna get a big job. Curious where. Cam, we had such a big weekend with football. We had such a big week of football last week. We left something out, man. We had a 2 title fight banger UFC championship or UFC pay-per-view this weekend. UFC 295. I believe it was in Vegas, correct? Or I think
it was in New York.
It was in New York. Madison Square Garden. Alex Pereira versus Yuri. I'm not going to try to say his last name. Headline this main event. 2 title fights. I'm not sure who the other 3 fights were. I did not watch them. I only caught the last 2 fights. But Cam, first thoughts, man. Give me your reaction.
Yeah, man. Great card. I think every fight finished was a finish.
Yeah.
I want to say shout out to Alex Pereira, man. Kind of went in and beat the boogeyman and Yuri. That was a highly anticipated fight, and he comes out and gets a knockout. I think maybe a little bit early of a stoppage, but
a little bit.
I mean, he was full mount. He was getting blows. He had already dropped him. So huge win for Peloton and all of that camp that Glover had lost to him.
Yeah.
A few other guys in that camp had lost to him. I'm losing names at the top of off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, awesome fight. And that left hook, man, stays putting people to sleep.
Yeah. That bow and arrow, man. I think it's impossible not to respect this guy. I don't even know who doesn't like him. I mean, the only thing, he's one of my favorite fighters in the UFC now. I mean, it just leading into, man, he's not like, I love Colby Covington, but Colby Covington hasn't fought anybody. Cannot say the same about Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira has fought everybody. He has had one fight in the UFC, Cam, that was not a UFC champion or former UFC champion.
Yeah.
Just think about it. He fought some no-name, knocked him out with a flying knee. Then he fought Sean Strickland, knocked Sean Strickland out the first round. Sean Strickland is a 185 champion. Then he comes in. He's the first 185 to dethrone Izzy, beats Izzy, fights Izzy again, gets beat. Then he goes in and he fights Jan Blachowicz or whatever, however, Polish Power. He doesn't finish him, but he beats him. Then he beats Yuri. I mean, dude, and he's not like he's fighting once a year, Cam. He's fighting every 6 months. He's staying active. He's giving the fans what they want to see. You can't not respect this guy.
Yeah, I agree. And the post fight was awesome. He said, He said he was
Gives
sitting in
me
a
come to
bar.
daddy.
Well, he said he was sitting in a bar
Mhm.
and he saw Israel Adesanya win the championship, and he said that Pereira was going to be a guy that was sitting in a bar for the rest of his life, saying, "I beat that guy." Calls out Izzy, and Izzy says he doesn't want to fight till 2027. That's just a waste of talent. I'm hoping, or he said he saved my career. I'm hoping I can save his by calling him out.
Yeah.
Those two, you can tell they don't like each other, but the respect is awesome.
Come to daddy.
Come through, daddy.
But anyway, dude, tell me about what you think about Mr. UK Tom Aspinall. Big win for him.
Yeah, Tom Aspinall knocking
Good
out
for him, dude.
the Pavlovich, he's kind of penciled in to be the next big thing in heavyweight. Aspinall coming in on short notice and just knocking out the heavyweight king at that point, besides John Jones. And awesome for Tommy Aspinall, but also awesome for all our UK listeners and UK UFC fans. You got Leon Edwards and you got Tom Aspinall now. So
Leon Edwards for a couple more weeks, but
yeah, depending on who you ask.
But no, man, yeah, great fight. Didn't see this one coming at all. I went 1-2 in my main event fights this week. I chose the Russian and I chose the Brazilian, and the Russian lost somehow. But anyway, didn't see this one coming at all. I'm really excited. I hope John Jones is able to come back and fight Stipe. I don't think John Jones is fighting Tom Aspinall. He has nothing to gain from it. But no, man, Cam, it was an incredible week in sports. It's the best week in sports we've had in a while. We'll go ahead and I'll run over week 10 really quick, and then we'll give our recap. I know the Steelers beat the Packers. Big win for y'all, by the way. I thought y'all were going to blow it. I'm not going to lie. But I want you to give me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, man. Moved to 6-3. We're the only team in NFL history.
6-3, dude. That's huge.
We're the only team in NFL history to be outgained by every opponent and have a winning record, which is crazy. But the offense is coming along, man. I have no complaints about the offense whatsoever. You run for 200 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. You'd like Kenny to look a little bit better. He's nursing a rib injury right now, but come out and beat the Packers at home to get to 6-3. You're the 3 seed at the moment, I believe. So
that's crazy, dude.
With what we thought at the beginning of the year after that Houston loss, you know what I was like. To be 6-3 is awesome.
Well, Houston looks pretty good now. I mean, they just beat the Bengals, so good for Houston. I know are they on here or not? I don't know if we talked about them or not. Good for Houston. Good for C.J. Stroud. I'll really quickly cover the Commanders. We did lose again, but we lost. Yeah, don't get me wrong, but we have our franchise quarterback. What I'm happy about. Not sure if anybody got a chance to watch, but Sam Howell threw for another 3 touchdowns. Or I'm sorry, he threw for 2 touchdowns. He threw for over 200 yards again. Did not turn the ball over. So offensively, we look great. Everybody forgets the Seahawks were a playoff team last year. Our defense did let us down again. We did have some bad calls by the referees, but defense let us down again. We do have the 32nd ranked defense now in the NFL. Sam Howell comes down with a minute and a half, leads a game time drive. Seahawks get the ball, come down, score again. Anyway, long story short, Jack Del Rio and Ron Rivera, their time is ticking in Washington. Really curious what's going to come out, but yeah, the boys lose again, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, Cam, AFC North time, Browns 33, Ravens 31. First reaction.
Yeah, man, awesome game.
Great game.
Lamar, they had a pretty big, substantial lead and kind of blows it. Not on Lamar, I don't think. He's susceptible to lose the ball and everything, but I don't think the Ravens are in a game without him, so I can't hate on Lamar. But what a rally by the Browns, man. Deshaun Watson, as much as I don't like the guy, played his ass off this week and
Guess who's hurt again?
Yeah, I hate that for him. I really do. But huge win. You get an AFC North win, no matter what. That's an awesome win. So shout out to the Browns.
Yeah, I'll say, man, really quickly, and it's way too early to say this, but ever since Lamar got paid, he's not playing to the level of competition that he's played in the past. So Lamar did have a big pick 6 at the end of the game. He only completed 58% of his passes. Lamar, I know it's Lamar. He only threw for 1 touchdown. It is Lamar. Lamar's Lamar. But
yeah. And I'll say, if you look at his record against the AFC North, when you get to play a guy like that twice a year, it's a lot easier to know his weaknesses. And I think the AFC North is kind of figured him out a little bit. You're never going to figure that guy out, but he doesn't put up the numbers against AFC North teams because they've seen him so much.
Yeah. Really curious to see what happens in that division. That division, I know you guys are on top right now. That division, it's the best division in football.
Yeah, every team's in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, I know the worst record in the division, I believe, is the Browns at 5-3. Correct?
It's the Bengals at 5-4.
Bengals at 5-4. Okay, so yeah, anybody to take it. Cam, I'll quickly run over 49ers, Jags. 49ers beat the hell out of the Jaguars. Not really much you can say there. Chase Young got his first sack as a Niner. Good for Chase. Brock Purdy came out, looked good. The 49ers looked like that scary team in the NFC. Again, did I miss anything?
No. Jags finally getting their revenge for disrespecting the terrible towel, though.
Yep. And same with the Chargers, dude. The Chargers come out, put out 38 points, and lose. This Lions team, Cam, is good.
Yeah, they're awesome.
This Lions team has lost one game. Nobody can say this Lions team's not good. This Lions team is good.
I got mocked for saying that team was going to win their division.
You did. I was talking shit to you. I thought the Vikings were going to win it. Look at me now.
Let me take one more victory lap. I love Coach Prime. I said that team was a 4, 5, 6 win team.
Look at
records. Go find me 2 more wins on that schedule, guys. But and I got mocked for the first 4 weeks. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, awesome week of football. We did see the Bills go down to the Broncos last night. We don't have to get too far into it, but Josh Allen, man, you said Madden curse at the beginning of the season, starting to take its course. But let's talk college football. Let's recap college football real quick. A Penn State team that I had high hopes for coming into this season. They lose their second game of the season, 24-15.
Yeah, can't get it. Can't beat that big team.
No, Drew Lohr, again, not looking great. Again, he's only 19 years old. Yeah. But fun fact, man, Michigan didn't throw a pass after 7 minutes left to go in the second quarter. That's crazy. They did not throw a pass in the second half. They looked at Penn State and said, we're better than you. We're going to run it down your throats. And defense coordinators watching that game film are going to be scared because they've got legit 8 offensive linemen that are going to play in the NFL. But yeah, Michigan comes out, smacks Penn State in the mouth, and first win for their interim head coach.
This Michigan team is just like UGA. You don't bet against them.
They're bigger, faster, stronger than everybody else.
That's going to be very interesting. And their quarterback is playing lights out too. JJ McCarthy.
Yeah,
that's another one that I missed out of that list of top 6 QBs. He's playing really good right now.
He also threw 8 passes in that win. So
that's true too. You're right.
Alabama 49, Kentucky 21. We could skip over that. NC State goes into Wake Forest, or not into Wake Forest. They go into
Winston-Salem.
Winston-Salem get a win.
We beat up the boys good. Brendan Armstrong looked good. Defense looks absolutely great. Not really too much to say. I thought we were going to lose this game. We never lose in Winston-Salem, but the boys got it done. 8-3, Cam.
Love it. Washington. Utah kept it close with Washington, 35-28. I didn't think Utah would be able to put up 28, but here we are. But Washington survives. That's all that matters.
There's another really interesting, too. Utah is only, I think, Arizona's favored to beat them this weekend.
They are, yeah.
I don't know anything about Arizona football, but I'm a hammer Utah winning that one. Great game, Cam. Well, how about let's move on. Missouri, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Either Missouri's really good or Tennessee sucks.
No, Missouri's really good, man. As much as I give Dorkwitz grief, he's an awesome coach and he's a great recruiter.
Whoever plays Missouri in a bowl game this year, y'all better watch out.
Yeah, man, he's got that program humming. They're going to be in a New Year's Six bowl.
What's the chance they make the SEC championship?
0.
So they're on Georgia's side.
Yeah.
Okay.
But still, New Year's Six bowl, they're going to win 9 or 10 games, maybe 11 with a bowl win. So,
yeah.
Shout out to Drinkwitz, man. He's an NC State guy, App State guy. Really putting Mizzou back on the map, man. And then last game we'll cover UGA, Molly Wops, Ole Miss.
Yeah.
I know some of the guys in the group chat had Ole Miss money line. It was a fun 5 minutes for you guys.
5 minutes for you, buddy.
But yeah, 52-17. I don't really have much to say on that game. That game got clicked off after halftime.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say. The Ole Miss got drugged. Lane Kiffin got drugged. Cam, let's move into NFL, brother.
Yeah, man. We'll kind of go through these pretty quick. We only got about 5 minutes left. Bengals, Ravens Thursday night. Ravens 3.5-point favorites at home. I think the Ravens bounce back here. I think they get a much-deserved win at home, and they cover the spread.
I think the opposite. I think the Bengals are going to bounce back the way they've looked the past 3 weeks. They lay an egg against the Texans. Give me the Bengals winning here. It's going to be a banger, though. It's going to be a good game. Both teams have to prove it.
Yep, and another huge game in the AFC North. This is for outright second place. If the Ravens lose, it'll be for first place.
Yeah.
Steelers travel to Cleveland to face the Browns, with the Browns being 4-point favorites. You know my stance every time we play this football team. The Browns is the Browns. They're nameless gray faces, and the Steelers win football games against the Browns. Give me Steelers outright.
I love it. I got Steelers winning. You said the Browns are favorited?
Yeah, by 4 points.
Yep, give me Steelers money line. I think Kenny Pickett's playing good. Steelers on a roll.
Yeah, give Giants travel to your Commanders, with your Commanders being 10-point favorites. I'm not touching this line. Let me just go ahead and say it.
I think if anybody knows anything about sports betting and you want to make money, I would bet Giants covering. We've beat the Giants one time in the past 3 years. The Giants just beat us a month ago.
Have you seen this cat at quarterback, though? Man, this DeVito cat cannot play football, dude.
Yeah, well, we also have the 32 ranked defense in the NFL. And I don't know. I saw the Commanders' defense as the number one waiver wire pickup in fantasy. I said, you guys are idiots, whoever picks them up. But give me the Commanders winning, but not covering, Cam.
Yeah, I'll go Commanders winning and covering. Just for
I hope so. We haven't won a game by 2 possessions since we beat the Texans in Week 11 last year. Or, I'm sorry, Week 10 last year. So maybe something's changing.
Maybe a game of the year here. We got Eagles and Chiefs, with the Chiefs being 2.5-point favorites on Monday Night Football. I think the Eagles go into Arrowhead and win outright. I think they win that football game.
I do too, Cam. I have the Eagles money line. I can't believe this is a Monday Night Football game. I honestly wish this was a Sunday night game. But is Monday night or Sunday night more prime time, you think?
I think Sunday night's the game to have.
I do too.
Personally. Let's go college football real quick. Utah, like you said, 1.5-point dogs going to Arizona. I got Utah winning outright.
Me too. Utah money line.
Georgia, 10.5-point favorites, traveling to Knoxville to face the Tennessee Volunteers. I don't care. UGA covers this 10.5-point spread.
I don't think UGA's not covered a spread yet this season. So UGA beats the shit out of Tennessee.
Vandy covered the spread against UGA.
Oh, okay. Did you bet on that?
No, I didn't. That was after the Kentucky loss. I was too heartbroken to bet on Georgia. But your NC State Wolfpack traveled to Virginia Tech and Blacksburg. Virginia Tech, 2.5-point favorites, though. I like NC State.
I did not know that Virginia Tech was favored. I thought we were favored. Interesting. We are traveling on the road. Brennan Armstrong, Virginia Tech has his number, but he's with a different team. Blacksburg's a scary place to play, but give me the boys winning, covering, money line. We've won our last 3 for a reason.
This one's interesting to me. This is going to be on my Bam's Bad Beats. Washington traveling to Oregon State. Oregon State, 2.5-point favorites. I got Washington winning outright on the road.
Me too, Cam.
And lastly, Kentucky, 2-point favorites traveling to South Carolina. I will be there in attendance.
Are you going? Nice.
Yep. Kentucky.
Who are you going with?
Uncle Ronnie and Uncle Clint are coming down.
Dude. That'll be a fun game.
With that being said, Kentucky loses this football game, man. South Carolina's playing for bowl life, bowl eligibility. Kentucky's not been good on the road this year, going into a hostile environment. I think South Carolina wins outright.
I disagree with you, Cam. Give me the Kentucky money line.
Real quick, I'm going to run through my bets, Wardwell, and then we could probably have to get out of here. Tonight, Champions Classic, Kentucky versus Kansas in basketball. I'm betting the over 147.5. Iowa football plays Illinois this year. You already know what I'm taking, baby. Under 30.5. JMU is 10-point favorites against App State. Give me JMU covering. Charlotte is getting 2.5 points against Rice in football. Give me Charlotte covering the 2.5-point spread. I'm taking Washington money line over Oregon State. I'm taking Eagles money line over the Chiefs.
Love it, Cam. Love it, brother. So I'm getting into my Fave Wade pick of the week. Free ATM right here. Check the boy out. And it's not going to be picks, Cam. It's going to be a parlay. So the parlay this week. If you bet $10, Cam, this parlay pays out 97.50. So here it is right here. And this is right now. So first parlay, first leg, Eagles Chiefs, bet the over. It's going to be a high-scoring shootout game. Over. Second bet, Utah covering that +1 spread or Utah money line. I just put them covering, but put the money line. I'm sure it will pay. I don't know which one will pay out more. That's 2. 3, University of Georgia covering plus 10.5 against Tennessee. They're going to kick the shit out of Tennessee. So that's 3. And 4, to wipe the icing or put the icing on the cake, Cam. Give me the New York Giants covering but losing against the Washington Commanders. Hey,
Gotcha.
if you want your rent to be paid, go to your bookie, put your paycheck on it. You will be a breaded up man.
Don't do that, please. I think we got to get out of here unless you want to rattle off pet peeve.
We'll real quick. We'll do our pet peeve of the week and then we'll bounce.
Okay. Mine is Joe Rogan's post-fight interviews. He loves saying that he doesn't interview fighters after they get knocked out, but he does it every
interview
time.
after they knocked out.
Pavlovich and Yuri interviewed both of them after they got knocked out. So Joe Rogan says that he doesn't do it. It drives me nuts.
Come on, Big Joe. My pet peeve of the week this week is going to be golf driving shenanigans. And when I say this, Cam, I didn't know what to put it. There's no worse feeling than when you step up to the tee box, you're getting ready to drive, and you accidentally knock the ball off of the anyway, there's no worse feeling than when you knock the ball off of the tee. So, and then you have to put it back on. So that's going to be my pet peeve of the week.
Gotcha. Well, that's the show. We got to get out of here. We got real jobs again, like you guys know. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. I didn't even say it at the beginning. Find us on Spotify and YouTube. Just type in the Fat Katz Podcast. Find us on Instagram, TikTok, Fat Katz Pod,
and Reels, by the way.
Nah, I'm not doing that, dog.
Cam's gonna start posting on Reels now. So, hey, appreciate you, Cam. Appreciate all our listeners. If you've made it this far, Cam will owe you a beer. And Cam, real quick, are you gonna be in Charlotte this week? No, you're going to Columbia this weekend, aren't you?
Yep.
Okay, never mind. Cool. All right, brother. Hey, always a pleasure, my friend.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother.
Peace.